Hey, what's going on, everybody? Longboxloveaffair here with a long overdue comic book haul. I have several piles in front of me, and this stems from some mail calls I've had, as well as when I was out of town for Thanksgiving. Going back home, hit up a couple stores, and then a couple small local conventions that I've been to in late November and early December here in my area. I'm beat. Today was a day where I went to an LCS and then did some digging there for about an hour because it's been a while since I've been to this particular one. And then I went to my storage unit and went through every box I had in storage and looked at every issue. So most of my stuff in storage is cataloged, but then I have some stuff that are loose as they come in from the past several years. So I haven't had the collection in-house to actually organize it. So when I'm looking for things that I might want to get rid of, sell, whatever, because I am in the period of purging. I'm trying to take my collection from here and whittle it down to a core group. And I'm having to make some hard decisions. So, for instance, I have a huge Hellboy collection, and I think it's finally time to say goodbye to that and to pass that on. And anything else that I can, that I don't necessarily think I'm going to want to keep. I have a whole run of X Factor. I'm not looking at the X Factor books except some of the keys that I really love, maybe some cool covers. So I'm trying to look at the ones that I might want to just shed, create some extra space in my long boxes. I have too many as it is. And ideally, I could get rid of the storage unit and just have a core collection. I don't think that'll ever come to be just because there's so many that I don't think I'm willing to part with. And I have a whole lot of runs from Spider-Man, X-Men, things like that. So I have some collection here at home. I have some collection in storage. So try to keep the happy medium there. So yeah, I'm a little beat, but I need to look through the stuff I brought home and figure out how I want to sell. I'll probably do a little bit on eBay, maybe try some Instagram, although that's always hard to sell on Instagram for me at least. And then I'll also probably do a YouTube thing or another at some point. So yeah. So when I was out of town, let's start with the haul. I did a run of 5 different shops in one day. I was exhausted, but I made a circuitous route so that I wasn't backtracking at all and made my way back at my dad's and was able to find some decent stuff. Yeah, some really good finds. I didn't actually go to my LCS as a kid in my hometown because the store owner doesn't like you looking through their back issues. And I love them, but it's hard to find any deals or find any comic books other than the modern stuff, the newest stuff on the shelf. He has stuff on top of his back issue bins that he wants to just say, what are you looking for? I was like, that's no fun. I want to discover things as I'm looking through the long boxes. So the first store I went to, I can't remember what one it was. Oh, it was a new one I've never been to. I struck out completely. Didn't buy anything. But then I went to another one and hit a jackpot of some sorts. So let me show you some of what I picked up. I picked up Spawn 105. Whoops, sorry there. Spawn 104. And I just picked these up because they're the hundreds issues, and they're clean copies. They had more, but they were kind of bent up. 103. And some of these 100s and definitely the 200s are harder to find. 102. 128. 129, 130, 132, really cool painted cover, 197, really awesome book. I have this one already, but it has a newsstand, so it's an older one, or it's a higher number one with a newsstand, which is pretty awesome. Got that for $3. 110. And 106. And so I just had those Spawn books, and he has a lot of back issues in this store and a lot of the current stuff as well. And I realized he has a whole lot of books behind the wall, and not just ones on the back wall, but in bins. And so I just started asking him. I'm looking to finish. I need a couple extra books for my Spider-Man collection to be done. I asked him if he had those. He did not. And then just out of the heck of it, I said, "Do you have Fantastic Four Annual number 6 or the King Size Special number 6, the first Annihilus?" And he did. And I looked at the price, and my first instinct is always no. I think that's always sometimes a good thing. So I said no. I walked out of the shop, sat in the car, and I said, this place is 40 minutes away, and I don't want to drive back here after Thanksgiving. So I walked back in. He gave me a little bit of a deal, and I picked it up. So I didn't just pick it up because of the price, but the price for the condition. This condition it's mid at least. I took it out there. A lot of them that I see, they have a lot of chipping away and creases, and some of them are torn, and they're selling them for hundreds of dollars. This seems to be the hot book. We'll see if it stays being a hot book given the Avengers trailer that just came out. But I love the character. I've always wanted this book, but I just never had it on a priority list for me. So paid a little bit more than I normally would, but it's a solid copy, and I'll probably get it cleaned. And the binding is really cool. Get it cleaned and probably graded just to have it, because it's one of those older keys, and it's the first appearance of Annihilus. So a favorite villain of mine since... Actually, I never really cared for the villain until Annihilation, when they did that storyline. It got me back into the cosmic characters. So this was a huge splurge for me. A little happy Thanksgiving to me, but definitely one that I wanted to add to my collection, and I would have kicked myself if I didn't get it. So I went from there to another store that is a small one, but they had a lot of back issues. And so this was the Wednesday before Thanksgiving, and they were going to have a Black Friday sale. But I told myself, I was like, I'm probably not coming back for Black Friday. I got other things I'm going on. So I just bought stuff. And the store is awesome because they're talking with the guys. The guy's very helpful. And they give you discounts. So I'm in their system. I don't go there a lot, but every time I'm in town, I go. And so they gave me a discount, and then they gave me a secret discount, it says on my receipt. So I got about 10 or so % off of everything. So everything I'm about to show you, I paid about $50 for. And I think that's a pretty good deal. So still on the shelf, I found the Return of Wolverine, the Error copy, which I could not find anywhere here. And it's the Error because it contains the Dr. Aphra or whatever Star Wars insert. So they had 4 on the shelf. I picked up 3. This book has cooled down quite a bit. But I actually really love this cover. I know it's interior art, and it's just a freaking cool cover. I also picked up Thor 700, the Error version, how to draw Mjolnir. So just really kind of a recalled comic there. These other comics, I don't remember the price, but they were in bins that were like $2, $4, $3, $5, depends on the color. And so I don't remember what I paid for each of these because there's no price tag, just a color. But again, I just know what I paid in total. So picked up just for fun. I love anything Warlock related. So Thing and Star-Lord 61. This is her appearance. I was shocked I found this, a really clean copy of Tech Jacket #1. This is Invincible. I think there's an Invincible ad, and so sometimes this gets called the first appearance of Invincible. Happy about that. Saw this in some people's videos when I first started watching YouTube for comics. Heathen #1. Again, a really clean copy. Why not? Youngblood 2. I actually got this for 75 cents before the discount. And I think this is the second print because these guys are colored in and they're not pink. I think that's what the original color. Newsstand of Wildcats. I got that for 75 cents. First Powdered Toast Man and Ren and Stimpy 6. Cool Rob Liefeld Marvel Comic Presents Wolverine cover. I hadn't seen this one before, so picked it up for the Liefeld collection. Body bags, #1. When I brought this to the counter, the guy's like, ooh, I was like, I don't know if it's still hot, but it's something to add. Let's see here. Just because I'm a Whilce Portacio fan, X Factor 67 and 68. I love this cover. I actually want to meet him so that he can recreate one of the images in this cover of a Cyclops blowing Apocalypse apart. That would be awesome if he could do that. Maybe wish list for this year. I got Kraven's Last Hunt 31. I think this might have been a 30 or 75 center. This one was definitely 75 cents. Web of Spider-Man 36. First Tombstone. So excited to have that. Found this for not a bad price. It's newsstand, and it's actually kind of got a square binding. I guess that's how it came. What If 10, the first appearance of Jane Foster as Thor. Awesome to have that. So that was that store, and so I got all of those for about $50, and I think that was a good deal, especially since Tech Jacket seems to be selling for about $30 at least, and some of those others as well are up there. Went to my final store of the day before heading back, and I only bought one issue, and that was Domino #2. This is a hard book to find, from what I understand. You look through old back issues, and you see one. You see a second print of 2, 3, 4, 5, but you don't see the first print. I think this was low printed. This is definitely the first print, and it's a cool Greg Land cover. So I'm a fan of his art. And so I picked this up. I was like, for $4. So that was that. And that was it for Out of Town Haul. Before I went out of town, I went to a local con. And I'm just going to bust through these because there's a lot of stuff here. And picked up another batch. For as much purging as I'm trying to do, I'm still picking up stuff, which I have a problem. I think we all have problems, right? So added to my Justice League New 52 collection, the sketch cover by Jim Lee. Pretty awesome cover there. The Theme of Annihilation #1, the Brian Hitch cover. Pretty cool cover. I've never seen this one in the wild. Another one I hadn't seen in the wild is Sex Criminals, the Ghost variant. I'm a fan of this series. I think there's a lot of spec value to this series. And this one I think I picked up for like $15. I got some variant covers of X-Force that are Clayton Crane, just pretty cool variant ones. I don't think I own these, so I thought I'd add them to the collection. And I think for $1, I picked up Phantom X #1. This seemed to be creating some steam back not too long ago, so I saw it. I was like, well, I'll just do it. Ghost Rider Trail of Tears #1. Just a cool skull cover by Clayton Crane. For $2, Deadpool, the Garbage Pail Kid cover that everyone was clamoring for. So that's a third copy for me. And then the variant cover to Spider Force. I probably overpaid. I don't know how much I paid, but under 20 I paid. But I know I probably paid a couple bucks extra than what eBay calls for, but I was like, that's okay. And then I think for $2 I got a second print of Cable, another one just to hold on to. I enjoy the character. And then for $1, the last thing I found at that booth, at that convention, was Amazing Heroes 16. 16? Yeah. First appearance in the magazine of the New Mutants. It's really, it's weathered. It's got a lot of scum on the side. Not a lot, but browning. I could use a clean, but it's definitely one to hold on to for the movie coming out. Just a hard one to find. A lot of people were talking about this not too long ago. Okay, and then I went to another local con and walked around, saw some YouTubers, Symphonic Elk, Bragg718, and in the end, I had nothing. I was ready to go home and started looking at this one booth that I hadn't checked out, although this guy always has great stuff. And I I've bought some stuff from him before, and both of the YouTubers were there at various points when I was there looking at the books, looking at different books. And so I decided to just, okay, let me dig in, let me see what I find. I was starting to get a little disenfranchised. I wasn't finding anything. So the first book I found was this, Stormwatch number 4? Yeah. First Midnighter in Apollo. This is a book that's hard to find in good grade, and this is a really decent grade. I would say it's at least a 9.4, maybe a 9.6. If I press it, maybe a 9.8. It's a really cool Brian Hitch cover. Is that Brian Hitch? Yeah. And but the black is hard to find. I saw this on Instagram. Someone was selling it, and I just couldn't pull the trigger because it did have a couple of dents. And I guess I'm turning picky right now. Usually didn't buy for grade, but when you have something that you really think is going to be a good book to have, I want to get it as good as I can get it. So I picked this one up, and then I also picked up this one. Don't groan. But the gold hardcore Jim Lee cover, you know, I think of the books, this is the cover to hold on to, just because it's a sweet, sweet cover. And the gold is hard to find. The Valiant variants, the gold books were all the rage. So I got both of these for $40, and that was my con experience. And I was like, okay, that's enough. I can live with that. Don't need to buy in mass quantities. So that's what I picked up at that con last weekend. Two more sets of books. Thanks for bearing with me if you're still with the show here. So both of these are mail calls. The first one is an eBay purchase, Spawn 221, the Amazing Fantasy 15 homage. Just a cool cover I've been looking to get back into my collection. I sold it. I had the whole set of the homage covers years ago, and sold most of my Spawn run at that time. And so now I'm just bringing in some back into the fold. So I have a really nice collection of Spawn right now, especially the older issues. So I got that, and I picked this up online. So Infinity Gauntlet, Crane, and Venom, some of my favorite things. Just kind of I don't know if this was a retailer copy because there was a bunch of retailers selling it, but it wasn't available in the stores. So I picked that up. It's a cool Clayton Crane doodle, but that's pretty awesome. And then J. Scott Campbell. So he had his Uncanny X-Men #1 variants. So I was lucky enough to get the set. I don't love every one of them, but I do love some of these. So let me show you the ones I do love and the woes of this. Actually, I'll start with the ones I don't love. Not a fan of the Beast Shadowcat. Really kind of not a fan of this one, Gambit Rogue. This one I'm medium about, Nightcrawler Colossus. Although I should say, the coloring on this is killer. Sabine Rich, I think, does his coloring. She's amazing. But I do love the Psylocke, Archangel. The purples are crazy. I do love a Clayton Crane Wolverine. Something about how he draws Wolverine. And then there's Professor X. And then this is probably my favorite cover. The Cyclops Phoenix 137 Uncanny X-Men homage there. So I do love this cover most of all. The other two, these two, had damage to them. I've never had a damaged book from J. Scott. And this one had a couple of spine ticks. And then this one has like an upturned corner. I can't even, it's not showing well, but it's just when they jammed it in the packaging or something like that. So I reached out to them, and they might do something to make it whole or something like that. Not trying to be a griper, but you pay good money for that. You expect the books to be in good condition. So yeah. And then yesterday I was doing some errands, and I went to an LCS that's far away, but we'll go to occasionally when I'm out that way. and picked up a couple books that I had been looking for, the design variants of Ghost Panther and Arachnite. So I have all the design variants. I'm not collecting the regular series, but just kind of a cool book series to have. I don't know if they'll ever do anything else with them, but for the Infinity Warps, who knows? And then today, I went digging at a local convention, near where my storage unit is, and picked up off the shelf a copy of Farmhand, which seems to be getting some buzz. I need to read that. And I found 2 more copies of Domino 2. Picked them both up off the shelf. That's all they had, so I picked them up. And then in their back issue bin, they had dollar comics. And so the first one I saw was X-Men Legacy 214. This is the first Miss Sinister, I think. So I brought this back into the collection. It's creating some buzz. The New Avengers, what number is this? 30. This is apparently when Ronan reveals himself to be Hawkeye. And then I brought this one back into the collection too, the Mark Brooks X-Men Legacy cover, the 262. So that's my haul, 21 minutes in. Whew, if you stuck out with this, thank you. Low energy today, so thanks for bearing with me, but I wanted to get these shown. I've had these piled up. I need to put them away. I need to organize, and then I need to figure out what comics I'm going to shed and say goodbye to. I know it's a little sad, but it has to happen. So that's that. Thank you all for watching. I do post things on eBay using my screen name here, longboxloveaffair. So if anyone wants to check that out, you're welcome to. If there's something you are interested in, let me know. I'm happy to make a deal offline or on eBay. But most of these are PC, personal collection stuff. I'm not a huge seller, nor do I have the time to really dig too much into it. I wish I did. But this is a crazy haul. This is a lot of books that I have to go through. And then just to show you, those are the books back there, three long box, or one long box, 2 shorts that are ready to be sorted. And I have a couple more that are already sorted. So it never ends, right? We keep on chucking. So thanks, everybody. Happy holidays. If I don't, well, I'll be back online because I have that contest. So there's that. I have a contest going on, so you just have to make a video and post it in the comments of the contest announcement, and just say that, talk about the spec books that you might have. And I've already talked about some in this video, but I can't enter my own. And there's a $50 eBay gift card that I'm offering up to the lucky winner. So that's that. Thanks, everybody. Take care. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.